maybe even 0 seconds. Maybe negative seconds. I don't know. Okay, it's kind of late. Oh wait, did I not save this? Did I not? Oh no. Okay, I just didn't save my tiny comment at the end. That's fine. Compiler stuff right there. Sometimes you don't save everything you did on the compiler. That's just life. That is just life. Okay. Sometimes you do save everything you did on the compiler. That's life too. Well, sometimes you run the Sokoban game. Actually, we're not going to run it yet. I want to do some editor stuff. And I want to do like some rectangle selection. And I don't know if there is any such thing. And I don't see it. I don't see a rectangle select. So I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to add it. We may not do the whole thing tonight, but we'll do some. We'll do some. Okay, so I haven't worked on this editor in a long time. Okay, left down, left pressed, and left released. So if you press the button, we update a manipulation to see if you hit a test. Okay. So regardless of whether we hit an envy or not, I want to do rectangle select. Okay. Start rectangle select. See how much I broke right there. All right, good. And then I think these are going to be float vector 2s, I guess. That's fast game report, right? Something like that. Oh boy, how's the chat going? I've been doing okay. Is fork coder still being worked on? I don't know. What is that scripture behind me? It is the gospel according to the gold dragon. So, how many mistakes have we made so far? I guess it's not called fast game report. I guess it is. See, you should name things that you remember, and then you won't be sad. You should also not try to spell select sext, because people will think you are trying to sex them. And they may or may not appreciate that, but either way, it's probably... Oh, jeez. This is how much my brain isn't working. Okay, great. I know about the new Jacklands game. I'm in the middle of it. I'm on level, I have it over here. I'm on that level. This level. Which I haven't thought much about how to do it. It seems hard. See what I'm saying? Okay, hold on. Now I can't get out. Frickin' robot game. No, that's not going to work. Wait, hold on. What was I doing? What was my plan? I'm sure everybody here has okay, if I push this first, I'm hosed. Wasn't it rectangle select? Yes. But then somebody asked about this video game, and you know, sometimes you have to make the thing go ding-a-ling. Wait, can't I just do this? Yeah. Okay, see? Good work. Good work, everybody. Okay, back to our actual job. So we're not actually drawing a rectangle yet, but oh, we never call update. If you want to succeed in the game industry, call update. That is a general rule. There's a bunch of conditions under which I want to stop rectangle selecting. For example, when you switch between levels, what is that? Navigate open world plus. Delta open world. Set open world. Right. Oh yes, we reset some things. Let's call it reset rectangle select, just because. Oh, right. This is actually different because end rectangle select will select things, and this will not. Okay. That's a lot green code. I don't know what green code is. Is that code that Greenpeace wrote? Is that code that's part of the Green New Deal? Dude, okay. Oh, we don't draw reports in the editor. But you can see that it's working because these numbers, see here, it's like 1, 0, 1, 0.56, which is, so the coordinate system that this is in is like the x-axis is 1 long, and then the y-axis is at the same scale. So being at the top of the window isn't 1.0, it's at the aspect ratio times 1, right? So down here I'm at x equals 0, x equals 0, y equals 0. So the cursor control is working. So that's fine. We just don't draw these reports in the editor for some reason. So now I draw a rectangle at some point. And I don't remember because it's been a while since I worked on the editor. We don't have functions called editor draw. I guess we just draw from, like, we're doing like render and stuff here. Okay, so we're just going to do update and then draw, because it's clean to keep these in separate functions sometimes, even though who cares. All right, so now we're going to draw a rectangle. It's going to be the greatest rectangle you have ever seen. Who sets the transforms? Okay, so we still do this. It's like I haven't done this in so long. I don't know if somebody like changed the API and whatnot. I'm just changing things, don't mind me. Oh, these won't work. Because it doesn't know what type they are, bro. You can't do that. So we immediate begin, we immediate flush, we set a shader somewhere. We're calling immediate quad here, which is weird because we never set a shader, but that's fine. We'll do this same thing that we always want to do. We'll put the zeros in. Why not? That's going to be our UV coordinates, and are these vector 3s? Yeah. do this. And we'll just set a z coordinate. And we'll say, actually, let's do this. Actually, I think we can just do this, right? Let's try this. X0. P1 dot x is x1 dot x, but the 0 and the z we get from P0. P2 is P1, but P2 dot y is rectangle select x1 dot y. P3 we can copy from P0, but like that. I don't know what's easier to understand. Anyway. Eye color. What color is your eye? It's not even, it used to be called eye color historically because it was an integer color. But wait, why am I building the compiler? That doesn't make any sense. Now because I'm building the compiler, I can't use it. All right. Update rank. I did 2 update. No, this is draw. This is draw. Draw da 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 da. Z is 0.000. N0. Well, it doesn't really make sense for this call, but okay. Okay. Da, 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 da. Well, we're not seeing anything. This could be due to any number of reasons. Many, many possible reasons. Like us not setting the shader. That is a like, what is going on? Wait. Okay, so the shader is separate, so we just say set shader. Also, we can set the texture just in case, because we will want that later. Is it just white texture? Or sometimes it's just so annoying to do basic things, right? Okay, who does set shader now? We're going to set a shader with no texture anyway. I actually don't know if you do that. Like sometimes that might destroy the state, in which case this transform is not valid. I don't freaking know. I never know, even when it's still my code, and this code has been substantially modified by a number of people. So I honestly have no idea at this point. Oh, still nothing on the screen. This is the funnest part of graphics, is called why the hell is there nothing on the screen from what I'm trying to draw. Just make sure those are sane. Because if two of those, like if I mess something up, then it is what it is. All right. Oh, you know what? First of all, this should only happen if we're rectangle selecting. So let's do this. Maybe the normal is facing the wrong direction. Maybe, but that actually shouldn't cause it not to render. What could cause it to render is if I construct the vertices in the wrong winding order, but I don't think I did that. Okay, so let's see what we're printing. P0, P1, P2, P3. That looks fine. This looks like a non-empty rectangle. 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.4, 0.5, 0.2, 0.3. Yeah, so that's a rectangle that's right-handed, which should be what it is. Oh, you know what? That wasn't unit scale, bro. So we were drawing a very, very small subpixel area. Hey, look, look, it's a rectangle. You know when people watch someone play a game on Twitch and then they say like rect? This is what they mean. They mean that there was a rectangle involved. Rect. Okay, next up, because we're so fancy, we're going to do the following. We're just going to keep drawing that rectangle. That rectangle is fine. Where was eye color? All right, so I'm going to make something called B, which is I actually want, is it render target width? This is again something that, I mean, I need to make sure all this code isn't, yeah, okay. Render target width times point 0025. B is min, B and 1, right? No, not min, max. So if B is less than 1, it gets pushed upward to 1. All right? So okay, and we're going to make this interior color like 0.6. And this is going to be P0, P1. That's not going to work. Oh, I guess it will. All right. Sometimes graphics code is stupid. P0 to P1, P0 to P3, P1 to P2, and P2 to P3. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, we're going to make a frickin' quad. All right. So strut is going to be okay, not struct, strut. Strut. Okay. So okay, so we've got this quad and it's degenerate right now. And we want to say left is unit vector of v1 minus v0 times b. Right, but left equals actually let's call this forward. v2 forward dot y minus forward dot x. I never remember. I'm trying to rotate 90 degrees. And that is it's positive on the x. It's this and minus, it's that. Okay, so Q0, actually it's this. Q0 minus equals left, actually plus equals left. Q1 minus equals left. Now this is relative, this is left relative to the forward direction. So what we're doing is we're saying, what's the direction between V0 and V1, right? From V0 to V1, multiply that by this really short length. Now rotate it left 90 degrees, push out one of the vertices that way, push out the other vertex the opposite way, right? And then the same right? Graphics, man. Hope you caught all that. Okay, that I admit didn't quite do the right thing. Now I'm very confused because I thought we made the interior rectangle not be. Oh, we didn't change the color, so we're drawing everything. But also, Like, I feel like our B value is just huge for some reason. And why is that? Like, what? Oh, because we said it can't be let. Okay, guys, remember when I said this is all unit scale? One in unit scale means the width of the screen. So we're saying if this border is less than the width of the screen, make it the width of the screen. So that is not what you want. You want like, okay. I'm very confused. Okay, this is the non-unit scale thing, right? Okay. This is fine. So this is just in pixels. Convert from pixels to unit scale. All right. Okay, we got to fix the color as well. These are not eye color. These are border color. Okay. Look, it's almost professional. Never mind that the colors are not good and that, see the corners? See how the corners don't totally connect? But that's okay. This is good enough to do a thing. So let's just make the border a little thinner and a little brighter, and then we'll actually do the selection part. So border, like that, color, like that, and well, let's just see what that looks like. Yeah, we'll do the beveled corners later. The thing is, it's like we sort of, I'm drawing them as 4 separate quads, so we kind of need to remember particular vertices from different quads. And, you know, if we make the border smaller, it just doesn't matter as much. Now, what's weird to me is like, what? Do I need to multiply this? Like, I'm used to just thinking that I'm drawing in RGB, but I guess like in sRGB kind of color space, but I guess not. I guess this is like before the post process. Oh yeah, look at that. That's like some Tron select crap right there. Okay. Does your editor have bloom on its rectangle select? I didn't think so. I didn't think so. Does your Game Maker Pro video game engine level editor have bloom on its rectangle select? Now, never mind, its rectangle select probably does actually rectangularly select things, which ours does not at this time, but let's not get picky. Okay, this is actually going to be the annoying part. It's actually not that annoying. It's just we have to pick what the criteria are. Is it like if any of your vertices is in there, and that probably will be the criterion? So first we have to do it's like I almost want a modified version of this that like selects parallel to the ground plane, but we could do that later. We could do that later, bro. Okay. Typical CADs also differentiate positive versus negative rectangle to do inclusive, exclusive. So you mean like I would deselect things if I went this way? Or just with a modifier key? I think I would rather do it with a modifier key, honestly. You select objects that are entirely, I see. Right, okay, so there's a modifier of, do you have to be completely inside or do you have to be any inside? I see. I think that's what you're saying. For now, we're not going to worry about that. We're going to do one or the other because before we could do either of those, we actually have to build the frustum in 3D representing this ting-tangler. So what we want to do is build a pyramid with one point at the eye and then 4 points at the corners of this square, right? And that'll represent the volume going out into space. And then what you do is you just test things against that pyramid. And once you have that pyramid, then you can choose the policy that you use to test things, right? But before we even have that, we can't do anything. Now, fortunately, it's going to be very easy to make. Hopefully. Actually, it's going to be a little bit annoying. Hopefully we have functions that get projector in world space, like that one, in the very file that we're in. Get at it right, because that's how we do the picking. So this very cursor position that we have, I don't think, so I think we're already pre-divided by this. So I think we just do this. I think we just get these vectors. All right. So when we end rectangle select, so we basically want to do another thing, whoops, where we mix and match the coordinates to make a box, right? Actually, we probably have an entity manager active here. Oh, there's so much commented out code in here from like essentially the witness editor. Yeah, so we'll just pass that. Oh, that's end rectangle select. Cannot type. Okay, so we want 4 vectors like this. 1, 2, 3. They're going to be in the same order that I always do these. This is lower left corner. This is lower right corner. Now, actually, though, see, all right, hold on. We want this to be in a known orientation of which side is inside and which side is outside. And right now, our x0 is not necessarily the min, and the x1 is not necessarily the max. All right, so we need to convert to these. Okay, so hold on, hold your horses. So we're going to say x0 this is confusing because this x0 is a scalar. The other one's a vector, right? So we're picking the min and the max. I'm going to do the same for the y. All right, not may, max. Okay, so that gives us a bounding box in a known order. Let's just do this over. So this is going to be x0, y0, manager.camera. And this is x1, y0, x1, y1, x0, y1. You do this kind of pattern all the time in video games. Video games. Okay. Next. Well, we want the planes, and we probably have an easy way to get a plane from points. Normalized plane from points, I guess. That might not be the right. Let's go probably using whatever is here. Does this have planes? No. Does it have planes? No. Does this? There we go. Make a plane. A, B, C, D. There's a lot of different ways to talk about planes. Right? So this is make a plane from 3 points, and normalized plane just means the unit vector that we use to represent the actual surface direction is 1 unit long. Now, never mind that this idea of using a vector to do this is an idiosyncrasy of 3D and is wrong, and you really want a bivector. We're just doing it with a vector because that's how we roll in this engine. Okay, so now we're going to do 4 planes. Oh, and let's say I oh gosh, we have to transform. Okay. So these vectors are, oh, they're in world space. Okay. No, that's good. That's good. And so is the camera position. Okay. So P is manager camera position, right? So we want to say, for example, plane 0 is normalized plane from points from P to, now I have to decide whether I want the plane normal to mean outside or inside, and because that depends, you want to give your points in counterclockwise order in the direction that you want. I think our standard is that a positive dot means inside the thing that we care about, but I'm not actually sure. BSP tree sort of does both directions symmetrically, so that doesn't matter. Oh no, in Frustum, I mean, inside Frustum. So here we're saying it's outside if it's positive. So the normals are pointing outward, which I guess makes sense because when you have a mesh, the normals point outward, right? So having them point inward is a little weird. So let's keep them outward. Okay, so great. So that means we want, well, P can always be first, it doesn't matter. But then if I have V0, 1, 2, 3, and 0 and 1 are along the bottom, I actually do want 0 and 1, and that gives me a counterclockwise facing downward. I've done this enough times that it's not hard to visualize, right? Plane 1 is going to be 1, 2, right? It's just going to go around, just in order around the thing. 2, 3, and 3, 0. All right? So that's our 4 planes. It's like the 4 musketeers. And now we select things. And right now, so we have modifiers that you press to like add to selection and all that, but right now we're not going to bother with any of that. How's it going, everybody? Does this make sense? It's just stuff I've done 1,000,000,007 times. 1,000,018,000,000 times I've done these things. And which doesn't mean I won't make mistakes. It's just I've done them a lot. So, well, we're going to iterate over all entities in the entity manager. I want to know if something is visible. Let's look at what find by segment does, actually. This is weird because it goes over everything first and then it filters down. And then it does the raycast, which is interesting. So we're gonna do this. So we're gonna have an entities array, all right, and where's that live? Okay, we just literally iterate over all entities. That's not the best, but whatever. This is fine. Okay, so we go over all the entities. And now we're just going to say, is the center in the thing? let's actually do this. These planes are from Plano, Texas. Okay, and we can write a function that just operates on any array of planes. We're not going to care that it's a little bit slow to do this right now. It's fine. So we're just going to say if is inside all planes, it dot visual position planes array add entities it. All right. So what is inside all planes is some function where we say pos is a vector 3 and planes is some number of planes. The return bool for planes if plane dot pos it is greater than 0, return false. Right, something like that. Semicolon, oh yeah, because these aren't declarations. Rectangle select Y0. Oh, yeah, that's not a thing. I did too many X's to Y's. That's what happens when your names are confusing. Okay. Normalize or 0 of V. Did I just copy that from some? What? Okay. Oh, and then we need to set the selection. I think we have an overload of this that goes on that, right? All right. Da, 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 da. Na, 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 na. All right. Well, we didn't select anything. GG's. Oh, wait, did I? So the same thing to do at this point is to have a level with just like one thing in it. Because I probably did something dumb. The thing is, you can't have exactly one thing because we make some things by default. But you could have a couple things. Whoa. Okay, so if I like micro click like this, I'm selecting everything. So that means the iteration is working. See, we want to reject the rectangle select if you're not really dragging a rectangle in. We don't do that right now. But that's a clue. Like, what if I... What year do I expect the programming language to be officially released? 2097 would be, I'm pretty sure it should be released by then. Select a super small region. Yeah, I don't think that's going to matter. I think the reason that's working is because it's totally degenerate. I think if it's not, it won't select anything. So either I legit made it backwards, which I don't think I did, or like some point is in the wrong space, you know, like all sorts of badness could be happening. Oh, we selected something. Look at that. We can, okay, everybody, With our rectangle, we can select exactly one thing. That's all. You can't select anything apart from that. Dun, 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 dun. Very weird. Very exciting. Yeah, so there's just a tiny, tiny, tiny bug in some way. Let's just print out what the planes are, because I could have goofed that. No, you know what? Let's debuggertize it. Let's debuggertize it. Nope, 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 nope. Debuggertize. And we're going to say, we're still going to just have a lot of entities here for a bit. So we're going to go here, and we're just going to see what this looks like. What? Why are you questioning me? Why can I not rectangle select all? What? Did we not build? What's going on? What if I run this here? Is Remedy worth buying? Well, what do you like? What are you into? So I can rectangle select here. Can I like not do that running from the debugger for some reason? Did I like type the wrong? Am I running a release? What did I do? Yeah, guys. If you want to succeed in the game industry, come on. All right, great. So let's just take a look at these planes. Well, let's look at the vectors, v0, v1, v2, v3, right? So v0 should be like negative x, negative y, except this is like in world space and we're looking down. So they're all going to be kind of weird. All right. I guess positive y makes sense because we're looking forward, like straight down would be 0y. And we're looking more oblique than that. Okay, so, but mostly down. So this looks like a reasonable vector. Y and z are the same there. Yeah, I mean, these, I don't know, but these look kind of plausible. Oh, except, guys, no, because I'm stupid. So these are vectors, and this is a point, right? And so really, this is not how it goes. I can just be stupid and do this, which, I mean, there's probably a better plane construction function, right? I told you I did something dumb. Plane from, Like we could just cross product the two vectors to get a normal, right? That would be probably more sane, honestly. Now that's a thing, that's a kind of bug where strong typing between points and vectors would have caught that. But I've never done that in a game engine. It might just be really annoying. Hey, look, I selected the things in the rectangle. Including, like I selected all of these, but that's because this giant cube entity, there's one entity is all these. All right, well. Okay, so now I can't, like the center of this entity is like here somewhere. So that's like selecting giant things with our current rule is a little bit unintuitive, but smaller one square things like these guys is like pretty straightforward. So the next thing, I mean, are there any questions about what I did there? The next thing is going to be, you know, we still, if I micro click like this, it still barfs and selects everything, which is not good. So we want to put an epsilon in there and say, if the rectangle is not at least a certain size, it doesn't count as rectangle select, right? And we could even draw that like it could be very faint until it reaches that size. And then it's full. Any questions so far, though? Maybe with the toggle key 2 for select all. Well, select all you don't need a rectangle for. Like I imagine that we're going to want some specialized functionality in this, but I don't exactly know what it is yet. So my default is just going to be, so if you're, well, I can't point select anymore, but if you're point selecting things, you know, we have shift to additionally select and control to like toggle select. And so doing those same operations, although toggle select on this might be just confusing and annoying. So maybe we just do shift for now. Can you move the camera while you are drawing the rect? You certainly can. Well, let me see. So there. Oh no, we turn it off, I guess. But it's back when you stop. Yeah, we need to think about what behavior we want for that. Live preview what's being selected. That might just be annoying. Maybe. I mean, the thing is, that does make it slower interactively. Like, so right now, I'm really not doing any kind of intelligent search on things, and we don't have the structure to do that in editor mode like this. In fact, not even in game mode, really. So it's literally looking over every entity in the world every frame if you want to update that live. We could do that. I just rather not go there yet unless it's explicitly. Although people might really, like if I just want to get this guy and not those, I mean, I could see it being useful. We'll try it maybe. It's just if it gets slow for people, that's a bummer and a half. But it probably won't get that slow. Okay, one thing at a time. We need to actually make this work. I need to make this work. Okay. Do I read chat? Sometimes. Sometimes I read chat and then I'm sad about it. Sometimes I read chat and I'm only a little bit sad about it. You only ask because that's Unity's behavior. Oh, previewing what's being selected. Yeah, I mean, that is a reasonable thing to do. I think what I'm going to do is see how tired I get. We may not do this tonight. We'll probably pick this up. It's just I wanted to do a quick thing and get this in the game so that people could play with it. But yeah, exactly how we want it to behave, we'll see. And I could go to bed sometime soon, honestly. Is there any point in fighting continual crunch in a game company, or better to just leave? I think if you don't like it, it's better to just leave. Like, what? Do you think you're going to change someone's mind about how to run the company? It's unlikely. I mean, it also depends on how big of a company it is. If the larger the company is, the less that you're going to be able to have an influence on what happens. I'm not going to bed yet. I'm just saying eventually. I'm just saying I may go to bed soon, but first we try to finish the things. Okay. We need to make it. I need to make it. It's not your problem. So when we end rectangle select, I'm going to say if, we might want to get sophisticated about how we draw it. So I'm going to say big enough, param is rectangle is big enough parameter, right? We're just going to say that has to be at least 1, all right? And so what does that mean? Well, we're going to say dx is we're going to say actually dr is rectangle select x1 minus rectangle select x0. All right. And then length is max of dr.x, dr.y, so it's the longest side. And I'm going to say param is length divided by, I don't know, like what's a big enough rectangle? Like 1, what did we say our border was? Was 1/1000th of the screen. So let's say 12 borders. Something like that. Okay, so the reason we have this is also when we draw the rectangle select, we're going to say, well, here's the param we're going to clamp it between 0 and 1. We're going to say scale is 1.0, but if param is less than 1, scale is 0.5 times param. I just want something that increases and then snaps at the end, right? So we're going to say iColor.w like this. I don't know, this is just a random hacky numbers. Glad you appreciate the streams. They are fun to do sometimes. Oh, abs. That's a good point. I heard that abs, like Atan2, is used for perspective projection. So somebody in the chat has pointed out that we did not exercise and get our 7-minute abs. And this was a problem. Where was it? Here. What we really want is 2-minute abs, honestly. Right? Okay. 2-minute abs. All right, so now, see if it's small, it doesn't count. And then it does count. So if I do this, I could click, I could drag a little bit, it doesn't matter. But if I drag a lot, we get things. And then I can, point deselect things as needed. One microsecond abs. Okay, so now I just want to do the shift. I just want to do the shift select to add to selection, which will be very easy. And then we're done for now. Okay, so here when we end rectangle select, we're going to do shift held, and we're going to say if shift held, we do one thing, else we set the selection. And I think it's just add to selection. Whoops. Ha ha. Add to selection. We don't have an add to selection. All right. Fortunately, we have a nice programming language. Oh, add to selection really isn't a very good function. Let me see. Do we have other? I guess we only have. Let's just check. That's kind of weird that we only have one, but I guess it's just made, like set selection gets called by batch commands and all that, and add to selection just doesn't really. Oh wait, we have add selection. Oh, this is adding selection to this output array, right? Or no? No, it literally is what I want. It's just somebody called it add selection instead of add to select. What is going on? Like seriously? All right. Add selection. That's such an ambiguous name, and it's inconsistent with the other overload. Okay, so there, and then I'm going to shift click over here. Ta-da! I'm going to shift click down here. Ta-da! And then I'm going to ta-da. Okay, let's test some other things. Let's go to this level, magnitudes. All right. Now this level has different levels to it, right? So if I'm up over these rocks, and then, so it should get filtered out to pick just the level that I want. So if I do this, I should get stuff on this level, but I shouldn't get stuff down there, which I didn't. And I shouldn't get stuff down there, which I didn't. That's great. Great. Okay. Spoilers. Basically, we succeeded in the game industry tonight. Why do those colored boxes have so much geometry in them? I don't know which one. Let's see. Let's go back to the level. Frame rate is going to be low because this is a very debug build that we're running, by the way. Not a release build. Why did those colored boxes have so much geometry? You mean these? Down here? The blue number boxes? What are we talking about? Magnitude should be the opening puzzle. That is false. It should not. In the simple level. You mean like this right here? Do you mean like these little see-through boxes here? These are just like force fields that can go away, and these are like the generators of them. The graphics of these things are not at all final. Yeah, they have a lot of vertices for what they are. They were just kind of like auto-generated, but also they kind of animate procedurally as they open and close, which is one of the reasons why they have a lot of vertices like that. But these are going to get replaced. These were, you know, an idea that was just meant to bridge us forward for a certain amount of time until we get closer to done with the game. That's all. I think the level designers are going to be super happy with this new feature. Maybe. I mean, it's not super good yet. It's just we still have to decide what the nuances are for how it works, you know. I don't know, should we make clicking out in the middle deselect? All of a sudden I feel like it should. Rectangling out in the middle deselects. Clicking never has. You hit escape to deselect. I don't know. I guess you're almost never in front of an empty background like this. Like usually there's geometry back there anyway, so clicking out in the middle of nowhere just wouldn't be a thing in most levels. Character select next, choose specific items. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. How do you immediately update in-engine values when you save the configuration text file? Do you mean the variables files that we have? Are you asking about something you've seen on the stream or like something that someone else does? We do have variables stored in files, but I don't know how to answer the how question. Like when the file's modified, we notice that the file is modified. There's a Windows API for doing that, and then we reread it. You'd be irritated if you misclicked and messed up a selection. That's fine though, because we have selection undo. Like if I have these things selected and these are exactly what I wanted selected, right? And then I accidentally select this, I can just hit Shift Z and go back to the previous group. And in fact, I can keep Shift Zing back through my whole history because our editor is not bad. Not being able to click to deselect would drive you bonkers. But the thing is, it's not relevant almost ever because there's geometry everywhere. It's only on this level that there's not geometry. Yeah, I forget the name of the Windows API function, but you could find it by searching. It's not that hard to find. Had that variable file in the witness too? We did, they were just different. It was a different implementation in a different engine, but yeah. Not on smaller levels unless there's an ocean. Well, again, that's for a minority of the team because once the art team is working on a level, there's going to be geometry everywhere. How does the drag select work with occluded objects? It just selects everything in the cone. So like if we put, let's actually recopy these and we're gonna paste a copy of all these down there, right? So they're just kind of living underground right there. And if I do a rectangle select on everything up here, it'll get whatever of that we hit. Yeah. Good aim on my part. I hit all of it. Not that hard because the cone expands out, of course. Okay, so I have an error here, which is the rectangle select is happening while the manipulator is happening. And so what we have to kill rectangle select if there's a manip. Good thing I didn't check that in. So if grabbing is none, otherwise we do a thing. Get select working on wall sets. Well, it's not like, that's not the way I'm going to drive it. What I'm going to drive it by is just asking sort of what people want. You know, actually, we could do the slightly more intuitive thing next. Whoops, I guess that killed rectangle select. Sorry. Well, first I have to fix this before we get too ahead of ourselves. Oh. So I guess entity So we used to move entities around in space by dragging them manually early in the witness engine, and then we changed that, and I think we just still have this grabbing state for it for some reason. All right, can I? Nope. What the hell, bro? What is going on? This is a super low rent way of investigating. Super low rent. Blocked multi-frame. Okay, but what is it here? Manipulator. All right. I don't remember what blocked multi-frame is for, but it's probably just so that the UI doesn't... I really should investigate this more carefully, but I'm not gonna right now. When working with 2D coordinates, you prefer to handle 0, 0 at the top left corner or the center? Neither. Neither. In the stuff that I was just doing, 0, 0 is at the bottom left corner. Okay, well, the question is, do we go further or do I go to bed? So the next step would be, let's just test every vertex against the thing, because that's more intuitive. Like right now, it's just like the bottom center point of the object. You know what we could actually do is get the bounding volume center, which you want anyway, because if you're going to test every point, you actually want to early reject most entities. Which you would do by the bounding center test. Let's see. Yeah. So the problem, yeah. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Our inside the frustum check is currently using the visual position. Where was that? Where was it? Okay, so we're just going to ignore the radius right now. We're going to use that later. So we're going to say center comma radius, and center is object to world space. We're not going to use these transforms. Those are rendering transforms, and we don't really have that state. We have a bounding center, right? And then radius is, let's see, we have non-uniform scale on frickin' entities, which is a giant pain in the butt. Only in 3 dimensions, but still, do we have a 3 coordinate max? I think we do. Oh, I guess we have transform entity to world radius. Wait, what? What? Like I had that line right in front of my face. What the hell does that do? Exactly what I was going to do. All right. Okay. So we're just going to pass that. The only real difference, because we're ignoring the radius right now anyway, is we're using the bounding center of the entity. This is stored in space relative to the entity. This puts it in world space, right? Except it's not called E. Got to make up my mind about what the entity is called. For a game like Braid, do you use bottom left corner as well? Yes, I do everything in right-handed coordinate systems. Why not do not equal to manipulator? Because there might be some other mode that I'm not thinking about. All right. Okay, there already is because, well, when I start out here, I don't get a thing. I don't get a ting-tangler when I start out here. That's not good. I have to start on things. What a pain. Maybe we are going to do not equal to manipulator. Grabbing a scroll bar, like all of these things shouldn't really. Look, there's a rectangle selection, except I think we deleted it all because it didn't work. Why didn't I find that? Oh my God, dude. Did we already have this? We had some stuff. Not very much. I guess this was sort of from Witness or something at some point, and that's why it's in here commented out. But there's no code in here to actually do the rectangle, so now we have that. But we did have see, this is weird. Oh, nope, he was doing all this stuff. Just like what I was doing. Look, he makes a plane out of 4 frustums. I like my code better, but look, it's basically everything that I did. Could have just uncommented that. Actually, not really, because he's not like the begin and end can flip. That's not being handled exactly, and I don't know. It's not exactly what I did, but it's pretty close. No, this is all code that got ported over from the Witness engine, and we had rectangle select in the Witness engine. So it's kind of funny to see me doing the same thing. The one thing that I don't know about is this grabbing mode, which I guess I should use. It's just I don't understand it. I don't understand what it does, because like I don't want to, it doesn't make sense to me to set grabbing to rectangle selection automatically. uncommenting code that was coming out for ages is dangerous. Yeah, I don't mean just uncomment. This wouldn't even compile directly anyway. There's still too much C++ here. But, you know, you review it when you uncomment it. But yeah, I mean, it was fine. It probably wouldn't have been that much faster than what I did. Because like I said, I was just writing it straight out. Inside means negative dot. Same thing that I picked. I don't know why we're using the frustum data structure here. Anyway, so what... I'm not going to try to set this yet. It is obviously the right thing to do to set grabbing to rectangle selection, but I don't want to do that yet because whatever the right thing is may be complicated, and I am in bedtime order now, so I think I'm going to go back to this for a second, and we're just going to include that case for now. And I'm going to put a cleanup note that the right thing to do is to set grabbing to the thing. All right, so camera. Why is it camera? Which that's me grabbing the window. Like, this must be some really old legacy thing or just a bug. Like, wait, but then the camera changed. Like, I think this is a bug that happened due to, you know, starting with witness code and then chopping stuff out, right? Like, I don't know why grabbing is camera in that case. I don't know why it's blocked sometimes and can't. All right, well, it might be a bigger mess not to fix this. Okay, we set it to camera there if Alt is held, but Alt is not held. I don't know what the hell multi-frame block means. Like, none of this makes any sense. I didn't understand it in the witness editor. I don't understand it now. Like, some kind of explanation would have been nice, but there doesn't appear to have ever been one. What is a multi-frame block? I don't know. Something Casey did that I just don't know what it is. It's like, you know, it's basically to prevent other things from being activated, but like, I don't know specifically what I don't know what it is enough to like program things relative to it. All right, so I need to figure that out at some point, and when I'm tired at 11:40 p.m. is not the best time to do that. So what's going on is if we hit an entity, right? We go into blocked multi-frame, and our if statement down below contains blocked multi-frame. So this actually, this is wrong. This is very wrong for this editor. Like, You actually want rectangle selection. I mean, let's try this. I don't frickin' know. Is it rectangle selection? Get Casey on Discord. He might remember because he probably did it. You know, a lot of the times when you go into someone's code and add stuff, you know, you're doing it based on the experience you had with your own stuff. So it's probably a concept that he does in his own editors. Right, so. Okay, I still don't frickin' get a rectangle when I go out here. And then now, oh my God, I totally broke these. Like these panels, oh God, see. This is just not good. All right. What was it? Multi. I'm just going to let, again, rectangle select happen during blocked multi-frame. And whatever, dude. Like, hitting an entity should not matter. Accidentally jumped. All right. Looked like blocked was when clicking into the void, and camera was when I alt-tabbed into Commander. Oh, that could be. Could be. Why? Okay, end manipulation. I don't know why we're calling end manipulation on click, but that's probably hosing me. Like this thing right here probably resets grabbing anyway. All right. Yes. So I do not want this to behave any differently whether we select an entity or not to begin with. It should be the same. I do not care. I don't think that that is interface that makes sense. All right. So great. That was annoying and stupid. So we're going to recomment this. We're going to, so this is just so what was happening, like when I was going over the panels, that was because rectangle select was on, I guess, still, because we don't turn that off or something. And it's like making the panels fainter so that you could see the rectangle or whatever, which is fine, except not fine because it's not set up correctly. All right, so let's delete all this stuff. This was like unproject is just not a good function. You don't want to use it if you don't have to. That was not a good way to do this. Everything else is mostly fine though. All right, so all this stuff can go. Do the panels work again? Oh, they should. Let's see. You never know. Are you going to try to reduce the startup time? Don't ask me. You know the answer to that. We do that every once in a while, and then it gets slower again, and then I get annoyed when people in chat ask me about it. The thing is, you always have to pick what you work on. Yeah, see, this is what it's supposed to do, is while I'm rectangle selecting, it fades out, you know? But then if I go over it when I'm not, see, it works. And so it's just, you know, I basically just need to go into that state management thing and then see what happens. I mean, you also have to remember I'm running a frickin' debug build. Like, why does everyone get up my butt about things? Jesus, people. Anyway, so I think that was pretty successful. You'd be kind of annoyed waiting 5 seconds every time. I once worked on a AAA game where it was 40 minutes between when I made a modification and I could run the game and see the modification in the game. All right, I'll take 5 seconds for a debug build. 5 seconds is fine. 5 seconds is fine. $40, yes, that is not an exaggeration. It took 40 minutes. How did you get anything done? I didn't get a lot done, honestly. What is strut calculating for rectangle select? It's just, that's just kind of what I personally call the sideways pointing vector for, like, if you have an infinitely thin line but you want to draw it as a thicker thing, then you need to go out to the sides. And that's just what I call that. It's not a standard term. Did I make mini versions of the game for things that were hard to debug? No. No. How did I not smash the monitor? I don't know, man. It was not a good time. That was Unreal Engine, by the way, and from what I've heard, Unreal Engine is a little better today, but it's not that much better. It still takes a long time to see your changes. What year was it? 2002. Like, saying that it takes that 5 seconds to start up a debug build of a game is slow is just not in touch with reality. Like, that's pretty fast, considering it's an in-development engine in a debug, not just a debug build, but like a super debug build. Like, I'm running the fast build, which isn't even, like, it's twice as slow as the LLVM debug build. And we're loading these levels with a bunch of assets in them. Like, this level has... you know, 1,600 entities in it right now, all of which are being instantiated with debug code, being loaded from debug files. Like, a lot of things are happening in that 5 seconds. And so, like, yes, it's always true that you want to start up as fast as possible. But at the same time, like, making things fast when they're not final is kind of counterproductive because you're making the wrong thing fast, you know? And so there's this constant tension. And, you know, you want to resolve that tension in the correct manner, right? And so right now what we're doing is we're making, you know, we're replacing certain parts of the engine until it's more of a production engine. And so we don't want to optimize the old things. And anyway, 5 seconds is honestly fine, you know? So that's why. You know, I shouldn't have gotten so annoyed at that, but it's just, it does fall into that category of question where it's like people ask stuff like, why doesn't your game fly on a magic dragon and hand out ice cream cones to everybody? And it's like, because if you know how to do that, let me know, because I don't know how to do that. Because the ice cream would melt? No, I mean, maybe it's a magic ice dragon. You don't know. Maybe the magic of the magic dragon is keeping ice cream cold. Who are you to question the magic of the magic dragon? How do you ask me about startup times without being annoying? I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, honestly, questions like that, I'm not annoyed because of that question, right? It's just I'm annoyed because of, I mean, you said, I know the game's not done, but that was totally a game's not done question. It's like, look, we work really hard and we're doing really cutting edge stuff in a lot of ways. And like, we can only do so much. And so if we haven't done something, it's because we were doing other things. Like always, that's the answer, right? If we haven't done something, it's because there's too much work to do and we chose to do other things first for whatever reason. So, you know, hopefully I gave enough of an answer after being annoyed to actually tell you the answer. But yeah. Like, I do think startup times are very important. I do think both for the shipping game and for iteration during development, they're both very important. Now, you've got to keep in mind that startup times are a spectrum even on a particular team. It depends on what level you're editing. It depends on who you are, because my startup time here is much slower than the startup time of somebody who's on the art team who's running a release build, except maybe not, because they also load a bunch of extra stuff, but that's their choice to load those things. So it's complicated, you know, it's complicated. Stole the T-Pose AI feature from Star Citizen. Ay, ay, ay. Seems like startup optimization is not going to affect the design of other things as much as the other way around, so it makes sense to optimize it later. Yes, but if it gets too bad, then it does make sense to optimize it now, right? Like, if it was a couple minutes to start the game that's so bad that I would be like, no, we have to make this faster right now. And in fact, actually last year, we got to a point, it wasn't even minutes, but you might have seen some streams during that time, where sometimes it was like 20, 25, 30 seconds to start up. And that was slow enough that I was just like, you know, okay, this isn't a final engine yet, but we have to take care of this because it's a problem, right? So there's somewhere, like, for me, you know, 5 seconds or whatever I'm getting right now is fine, especially because everyone else has it faster than that. 30 seconds is a problem, so somewhere in between there is the threshold. But also last year when we made that decision to optimize those things, we weren't, as we are now, in the middle of rewriting a bunch of the things, right? And so it's just, where are you situationally during game development? I actually don't know if it was 5 seconds. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5, 8, which is a while, but again, this is super debug build. Let's try the LLVM build and see if that's faster. So that was the x64 build, which doesn't even do register allocation. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 5. Let's see release build. It's going to take us 30 seconds to build release build because of freaking LLVM, but we could see how fast that is. Closer to 10. Yeah, I might have been counting a little slow too. In this particular case, changing rendering logic, hot reloading could have helped. Yeah, but no, I don't like hot reloading generally. I mean, yeah. All right, let's see. 1, 2. Yeah, that's like 3 seconds. So that's like what the art team gets if they want to start the game and not load a bunch of wacky stuff, right? So it's situational. So faster than loading an engine in the production version of Photoshop. That is probably true. You didn't consider that LLVM would speed things up by that much. Well, it is. I mean, that version was also doing debug code, but it's not as dumb debug code as the x64 backend. That's all. It's just regular debug code instead of totally stupid debug code like the stuff that I output. So, the trade-off that I make, and it may not make sense right now, actually. So the trade-off that I've been making is I want a much faster build time. And I'm paying a little bit of runtime speed for that because I'm using the dumb backend. And right now, for bigger levels like that one, it might be the inflection point where it's faster just to do the LLVM build anyway, because even though the compile takes a couple more seconds, the startup might be faster by 3 seconds or something, right? And so then you win by 1 second or something. I don't know. But then if we make our back end a little bit better, that won't be true anymore, and so forth. Do I know why Handmade Hero streams were off past 2 weekends? I don't know. I mean, Casey works hard. Maybe he just wants a break. Maybe he's trying to use the weekend time to finish up. I know he was supposedly doing that class that people keep asking him about, so maybe he was working on that. Oh, he was moving. Interesting. Okay. That's another reason. Plenty of reasons why things could be off. Maybe he moved to Chaz. I heard he really likes Chaz. Are there any optimizations that you could add to the dumb debug build that might help out? Like what would be the next optimization to add? If you mean the actual compiler to that back end, I mean the first thing to do that would help hugely is just actually do register allocation and actually don't generate nearly as many instructions as we do. Because we generate loads and stores for every single operation. It's like really dumb. That is a project of its own. It's not necessarily a huge project because you don't have to do good register allocation to start with. You can just do classically not that good register allocation, like LIFO or something, right? The thing is, before I can do that, our instruction encoding needs to actually know how to use all the x64 registers, which it doesn't even know how to use. So for the instructions that we call, a lot of them are just like hard-coded to use A or something. And so we want to vary that kind of thing up, except of course that some instructions don't give you that option. Some instructions are hard-coded to operate on particular registers. And so that just needs to get worked out. So what I would probably do is break it into two little projects. One little project would be, you know, fix the encoding of those instructions to be more general. And then the other one would be, okay, so for those instructions that can be more general, just ask the register cache if it has the register for a particular value, right? If it doesn't, then it would spill and load that value and then you use it. And then after you have that, that would be a huge improvement. It still would be not very good register allocation compared to the state of the art in compilers, but it would be a lot better than no register allocation. Will we target API IRs like SPIR-V? I don't know. I don't care about the giant mess that people are making in graphics, so I don't know. You know, I always wondered how that algorithm worked. I mean, people use different strategies for register allocation. I actually don't know what is the state of the art right now in that category. It's really not an area that I've looked into. Did we as a developer get some new background info on it? No, I mean, we knew everything that the public knows last year, Sony told us. I mean, they have to, right? Like, if they want people, like, the thing is, they want games available when the console comes out, right? And games take a long time to make. So they need to give developers enough information to start making games for the machine, like, well in advance of when it comes out, right? That's just the terrain. Register allocation feels like the most black magic part of the compiler. You know, I'm not sure if it really is. But I don't know, honestly. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's something I need to look into. Did I ever get a chance to piddle around with Vulkan? No, and I don't really want to. All right, yeah, everybody, I'm going to go to bed. Thanks, everybody, for coming by. I hope you enjoyed our fabulous rectangle selection stream. And we'll be back sometime later with maybe more rectangle selection, maybe something else. Let's see. We've been raiding people lately. Let's see if there's someone to raid. In the house. C# session 000. We've been raiding her a lot lately. Wait, is that Cotton Candy? What is going on? Oh, well, right now there's nobody there. I thought I saw Cotton Candy. If that's, I don't know what that, maybe that's just something in the background. All right. Do we know what this is? She left to get on a roller coaster. Okay, well, that's fine. People are free to do that if they want, I suppose. Soldiers and Scouts Alpha. 32-hour stream.
Harmon Classic compared to Draft and Tournament look correct. Then Classic and Draft look a little off.
I mean, he's doing some layout, right?
But if we go,
But we've never rated that stream before. I don't think I support violence against cats, but maybe it's about the cats punching other animals, which I guess is fine. This is someone doing good things, which is probably not interesting. All right, let's do some cat punching. Thanks everyone for coming by, and I'll see you later. It's always fun to raid new people. I'm just waiting for the raid timer to count down.